how to DM on Roll20, kind of like the basic gist of things, how to get up and running, you know. And so, but anyways, right now, what you're looking at, the very first thing I'm talking off script here, but I just want to share this with you. The very first thing I like to do whenever I start a campaign, I'm very visual orientated, and so you're probably like me. And let me just make sure everyone's on the map here. Let me just go ahead and copy everybody over, make sure everybody's there. Bjorn's there, Carmadel, Argo, Shinjo, Kel. Some folks are sick and in the hospital tonight, so our thoughts and prayers go out to them tonight. But if they're watching on Twitch, watching us play, they're a part of the group. You can talk to us in the chat if your fingers are still functioning. But anyways, if Chris can maybe zoom out and take a look at that whole deal.
Now.
We got the map. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
okay. So as a DM, I'm very visual. And I like to know like where the hell I'm at and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna zoom in over there. Okay. So that's what you get. I don't know. Yeah. Hey, can everybody mute their microphones? That would be helpful. So I don't have to talk over ambient noise and stuff like that. Okay. Anyways, whenever I start a campaign, the first thing I do is I'll find the map for the campaign, and that's the first thing I do. I'll put that up in the pages. When you're working in Roll20, in the upper right-hand corner of the display area is a little blue icon. It looks like a sheet of paper with a corner folded down. You click that, and a menu comes down. And it shows you your pages. If you don't have any additional ones and you need additional ones, you can click the little create a new page icon, and it'll make one. And then you can click on that one. There's a little red ribbon that says players on it, and so you can click and drag and move that around. So right now it's on the map. So whenever somebody comes into here, this is what they're going to see. They're going to come into this area and see this particular map area. And the reason why I put this one first is so that, and then I go on Google and I find this "You Are Here" arrow, and I size it up. And then I also make sure that I size the map to the grid so that people can use the little arrow thing and actually measure how far away cities are exactly as the crow flies. So this is exactly. So if I wanted to go from this place over to here, it would be about almost 300 miles. If I wanted to go over here, it would be a little over 300 miles and so forth. So it's not only like just a reference so you know where you are in the grand scheme of things, but it's also a tool for the players to come in on, you know, when you're not here or whatever, and they want to kind of look at the area, work on their backstory and things like that. So anyways, that's the gist of that, and that's why I do that. And so people have a visual reference as to where they are, where they've been. You can see places where the party has already been. It's in red. I put like letters like the Sahagan Fortress, Hamlet, and then right now they're in High Ports. But anyways, that's that. I just wanted to very quickly show you that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag. At the bottom of the screen are the names of the people, so I'm going to click and drag each one of those to where I want them to be right now. And of course, Carmadel is running the stream, so I'm going to move him first over to a map area, and we're just going to kind of look at this for a minute, and I'll explain to you why. Okay, I'll move everybody over here, pink, and then let me start my talk here. It's only 10 minutes long, and it'll help somebody. Of course, there is a new post in the DM 101 forum, so let me share that with you. I'll put that in Roll20. I'll put that into the Twitch chat window. It'll also be in the transcription. It's a wonderful thing I just put up there today for you. You can take advantage of that and steal all my hard work. That is you can get my encounter action deck of cards. I put every card up in Roll20. So you can go on there, you can download what you want, load them right in, and away you go. And there's even a link on how you can use that in the transcription. So have fun with that. It's fairly lengthy. Take your time when you read that, and there you go. So, anyways, but so let's talk about this really quick. Okay, if you've been watching these sessions, you will have noticed a considerable amount of graphics artwork using image manipulation and paint programs have been used, but just because you might not have that software or know how to use them doesn't mean that you can't use Roll20. And that's the focus of this class tonight. It's a 10-minute class. It's quick and dirty Roll20 gaming with minimal setup. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, prior to every session, these are things that I do. There really aren't any shortcuts. They just have to be done. I have them. I'll talk about 3 sections. Things I do before the session, things I do during the session, and things I do after the session. So this is what I do. This is pre-session. First thing I do is module preparation. I identify where the players are, the most logical next activity or activities that may occur, which might be resolving a battle that you're currently in, which is the case that you'll see tonight with the group that follows immediately after the class. Encountering a point of interest, a trap, another encounter, a role-playing situation, and talking to and possibly getting information from an NPC, which is a non-player character, etc. This prep work will help you to be aware of the things that you will be required to know in advance, so that game time is not stalled, quote-unquote, looking it up. In other words, you don't want to wing it. Make sure that you're organized. There's nothing more enjoyment-killing than a delay in game. You'll notice even here on Roll20 that I verbalize what I'm doing so that the players understand that I'm working, I'm doing my job, and rather than having prolonged periods of silence that oftentimes can be disconcerting and annoying with them wondering what's going on. So as long as you remain transparent in your activities, they will not become restless and distracted. If necessary, ask the group leader to lead a discussion on a subject that you want to be thought out loud while you work. This will aid the group in their present situation to, quote-unquote, talk it out, work out any logistical flaws in their your plan of attack, and as a result, be more prepared for what you're about, or for what you're doing behind the scenes. Ultimately, this helps to move the session along and bridge portions that may otherwise have been dead zones. By keeping the discussions game-related, it keeps the group focused on their task at hand and effectively sidelines any possibility for non-game-related discussions, which, even though they may be interesting, doesn't help move the session forward in a productive way. So secondly is Roll20 preparation that I do beforehand. I open up Roll20, and if you're using a map, I refamiliarize myself with the map, specifically where the player tokens are, where your tokens are. I double check and make sure that they are on the correct layer, soon to be made visible to the players, but presently invisible on the GM layer, or currently visible on the tokens layer. So, and then if you're using dynamic lighting, be sure that the page and tokens are set up correctly. Double check each player token one by one, and so you can see if the players will be able to see what they're supposed to see. And then, of course, for those settings and how to do that, you can look into last week's transcription in the DM 101 forum on dynamic lighting, which you can find here. I'll give you that link in the Twitch window as well as the Roll20 window. You can click that link if you're signed up at roll20.net, which is free. I would encourage you to do so you can follow along with us as we talk during these training sessions. And anyways, I refamiliarize myself with any supplementary elements like new in-game handouts that might be added to the player's journal and then shown to the players, which I'll show you here in a second, as well as any potential music and sound effects. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here very quickly. I'm talking about handouts. So I'm in the game right now. I'm going to the handouts. Here's one that I'm going to show you, and I'm sure Chris will click on the image, and it'll blow it up nice and big. And you can see I got a couple different things going on here. You can see I clicked the little blue page icon, which is on the right-hand side of the screen, in between the right-hand area where the character sheets are, and that window that says Edit Mysterious Note. There's a little blue icon thing there. Anyways, that's on the DM side of the game. When you click that, it comes down and it shows you like your pages. So I've got like 2 pages. I actually have more, but I hid them out. I did some photoshopping and got rid of them. But anyways, I have 2 pages here. You are currently on the map one, and there's that little red ribbon that says Players. Of course, you can click and drag that and move it between your pages. Right now we're on the white one, which is I'm going to show you here in a minute, and you can see when you hover your mouse over it, a little blue icon in the upper left-hand corner appears. It looks like a gear icon, and it says Page Settings underneath it. When you click that, you can make changes on that layer. Okay, but anyways, what I'm showing you here in this window that's open where it says Edit Mysterious Note, that's a handout, and that's how you can change things. So right now, the name of it is Map No Frills, and that's what you're seeing right there. You're seeing a grid, just like a sheet of graph paper. Right now, it's in the players' journals because underneath it says All Players, and underneath that, it can be edited by me, the DM. And the reason why it says DM is because I named myself DM. So in the settings, so that's you can change it to whatever you want in the settings, but for the purposes, so you know what I'm talking about, I changed my name to DM. It can be edited by me, and then of course right below that is the actual image that you're looking at, and you can load that in, or if you made a mistake, you can remove it and load something else. And if you were to scroll down at the bottom of this, there's a description and notes area that you can type things that would be visible to the players, and then below that there's another area that says notes for the GM, visible to the GM only, where you can type in stuff like that. So that's one. And then here's another one. If we zoom in on that, I'll show you that one. And if Chris can click on that one and zoom in on that so that people can see what we're talking about, that would be handy. This one is what happens if you don't assign it to anybody and put it in the player's journal. If you forget to put for all the players, if you forget to do that and you try to click the Show to Players button in the upper right-hand corner of that handout that says Handouts Making, as soon as you click that Show to Players, it's going to come up and prompt you and say it's not visible to the players. This handout isn't currently shared with any players. Do you want to share that with the players in the game? And of course, you click the blue button that says Show to Everyone. As soon as you click that one, it'll pop up just like the handout did here that Chris you clicked on the image with the magnifying glass and zoomed it in so you could see it. So that's, I just want to show you that. And then of course there's that, like I was telling you, the area where you can type in notes. It says GM notes, only visible to the GM. I use that extensively. I type in all kinds of stuff, information for myself. That way then I have it in a place where I can find it. The players will never see it, and so on and so forth. Anyways, okay, I want to share that with you. So anyways, as I mentioned before, I try to have one looped file for exploring and one looped file for a battle situation as far as music is concerned, as far as audio. And since I've taken the time to select and search for those files, I ensure that those are appropriate for the current area in the campaign. I try not to mix it up, or excuse me, I try to mix it up as much as possible so that it doesn't seem to be the same music, session after session after session. So unfortunately, SoundCloud is limited, so the players will hear at some point the same track again, but there's really no way to get around that. So, just try to mix it up so it's not the same. And then as you add your audio, organize it by renaming it right after you add it into your list. And what I do is I put the word, if it's music, I put the word music at the very beginning of the track. And then I follow it with a word ambient or combat. Then beyond that, I'll add some descriptive words like eerie or ominous or hopeful, etc. This helps me to very quickly find what I'm looking for in the list because all the music files will then be alphabetized under the letter M. And the additional verbiage ensures that I'm choosing the right track for the right situation, saving me from having to go and listen to every track to find what I'm looking for. I can kind of find it from the words I put on there. And the same goes for sound effects. If it's a scream, I put the word scream first. If it's fire, I put the word fire first, and so on. When you need it fast, by taking the time to do this, they will always be instantly available. If you have enough selections for the entire map, another way is to temporarily number your tracks for whatever room number they are for. That way, all the audio for any given area are all grouped together, and then you just click them out that way. And then, of course, when you're done, you just rename the files and remove those numbers, and they'll go back to wherever they were. And so anyways, so preview your track and set the volume so that it's just audible, which will be to the left side of the fader. The faders in Roll20 go horizontally left to right. So put it all the way to the left and turn it up just a little bit so you can hear it. And I typically only loop my music and not my sound effects. Nothing's more annoying than having a door open sound repeat more than once before you intercept it and stop it from looping. So, and then also, of course, like layer your audio. I think I mentioned that once before. You're not limited to playing just one track at a time. Always combine your selections for even more fun. And I layer stuff all the time. In fact, if you stick around after this class and watch the gaming session tonight, you'll hear layered audio from what I found on the SoundCloud. So anyways, here I'm going to give you the secrets of what I do right now. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the Twitch screen, and let me go ahead and post that in Twitch, and I'll go over here to Roll20, and I'll get rid of that because I'm done with that, and I'll go over to the chat window, and I'll scroll to the bottom, and I'll click that, and there you go. Those are the composers I use. I'll put this up in the transcription so you don't have to memorize it or whatever, but anyways, they're not in any particular order. I do like Stephen Gutein's. His stuff is fantastic. So is Tobias Pretario Bacchus. His stuff is really good. Grungust is good. Kevin MacLeod, he writes some music that's fantastic. I write music. I do compose. And I think my stuff is pretty damn good, but these guys they've got it. So, and they're on SoundCloud. Yeah. So when you're hosting a D&D session, you just search for their name, and all their stuff will come up, and add it all because it's all good. So, but anyways. And then just remember to turn off all your active audio files when the campaign situation passes, or you go on a break. Because nothing's more annoying than coming into a session and the audio from the last session is still playing and running and all that. That's just really annoying. For full immersion for your players, ask your players to help you to get your audio level set right by having them to turn up their Roll20 audio volume settings, and then having them to alert you when music is too loud or too soft so you can set it on your end. The last thing that you want to have happen is to have your players turn the audio off, because you spend so much time and effort in finding the music and the sound effects and the things to fit your campaign, and by having the players to not verbalize that things are too loud or too soft, and you not having the opportunity to set the audio sound effect and music settings on your end, they seriously negatively affect the enjoyment that they'll have in Roll20, because they're missing half the picture, basically. And there's nothing more annoying than having to play Dungeons and Dragons without audio or music. And the composers I put on there are really, really good. So they're worth listening to. I do give them credit. If you get a chance, always go into whatever area into the marketplace. Give them some financial support and help them out. It's worth the effort. And so anyways, and then lastly, in the pre-session stuff is material preparation. On the PC, I open up any additional materials that I will be using for the session, which may be graphic images of the map area, the Adobe Acrobat PDF file of the module, any rule books like the DMG, PMB, Monster Manual, or I use a keyword searchable software called Core Rules that has all of that in it. I can search all the books simultaneously. That's why that's why my sessions are faster than a lot of other people's sessions, because I can do that. And any additional tabs in the Google Chrome browser for any websites that I might need for reference, like Purple Worm, or the Twitch stream to verify that's working properly. If I need to maybe tell the person who's hosting it, hey, can you zoom in, can you zoom out, can you slide over, can you move that stuff out of the way, whatever the case may be. The Skype audio program, of course, which we're using. Any additional die rollers. Of course, I don't need that because that's in the Core Rules software. Stat sheets for any NPCs or monsters. Wandering monster tables, and anything else that you think you might need, have it open and ready to go at a moment's notice, so that way you're not holding the show up while you're waiting for stuff to load, or while you're trying to find it and all that. So, okay, anyways, two more areas very quickly. Session stuff. Let me show you what you're looking at is the old school example of playing without having to do any graphic artwork at all. So, in this example, you don't do anything. So in this case, it would be something along the lines of this. Your adventuring party nominates somebody who's going to be the map taker, and as you give your description, the map taker then draws it out for the group. So in this case, it would be something like this, and maybe Chris can help me out. Chris, all right, this is what's happening. You guys have just entered the crypt. All right, you're walking down a flight of stairs, and it's a 10-foot wide hallway that goes 20 feet to the north and comes to a T, branching left and right. And that's your description. Of course, you can tell them, you can give while the map taker is using the tools that are available to them in Roll20. He can be while he's drawing it out, you can be giving them extra information. Of course, you want to give them all the senses: audio, visual, sense of smell, sense of touch, hearing, all of it. Every step you take echoes down this hallway because the walls, the floors, and the ceiling are made of stone, rough cut stone. It's damp. The place smells like mold, etc., etc. So you give them the whole gamut while your map taker for the group is drawing that, and that's how you play D&D, just like that. It doesn't require any usage of GIMP Shop or Photoshop or any of those types of programs. Cut and dry. Let me just ask everybody in the Roll20 interface, if you vote yes or no in the chat window if you started playing D&D this way. And even the people watching Twitch, if you can vote in there, that would be great. I'd be curious to see how many people actually play D&D this way. No graphic arts, no tokens, no pictures, no color, nothing. Just a piece of graph paper and a pencil. And you can see from the...
After a while, though.
Well, yeah, of course. But the whole point being in this is that you don't... If you want to play, and you want to play right away, and until you get your skills and chops up, you can play. That's the whole point of it. Anyways.
That's how I started until I found this, and this right here is epic. But yeah, graph paper and notepads and pens. That's how I'd always played.
Yeah, that's how I always played too since I was 6 years old, but I got basically spoiled.
What's this map making you're talking about?
Oh, you gotta put them on there so they can see it.
No, I'm just saying, we never played with maps. Our DM would draw out our combat area, and that was it.
Yeah,
just for combat.
That little thing, and everyone, someone designated to make the map, and as he tells you, it's a quarter straight away, and if there's a T junction, then you just draw the map. It's 10 foot wide, though. Each square is 10 foot wide, and it's a 10-foot square basically, and not 5 foot when you're trying to draw it. So.
Sure. But anyways, the point being, I mean, they don't have to do that if they don't want to, but if they want to get lost, then that's their business. But me, if I was going someplace and I wanted to make sure I could find my way home, it'd probably be a good idea to take a map and listen to the dungeon master as he's describing what they're seeing and which way it's going and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so yeah. So anyways, so what you're seeing is a communal whiteboard. Everyone can draw on it. You don't have to use tokens. You just have to explain to the players right on the map where you are. You know, you can put even a little arrow which way you're facing, and then you can draw where the monsters and whatever things are. If there's a chest or this or that, you just draw right on there. There's different colors. Doesn't matter. It's a done deal, and you can play D&D like tonight. You don't have to do. You just call your buddies up, and away you go. So that's all you have to do. The most important session activity for the DM is to create fun, making each session enjoyable for the players. In turn, makes it enjoyable for yourself. So, and then of course, keep, like I've always mentioned, always keep a DM session log and post it for the players to evaluate after every session. It serves as a record, a memory reinforcement to what the characters individually did, which then helps you to figure out how much XP you should award afterwards, rather than actually taking time to do it in a session. As well, and most importantly, is passage of time. You need to keep track of time. Is it a day, a night? You don't have to write a novel. All that's necessary is a quick blurb as to who did what and the result of that action, like so-and-so opened the door, releasing the poison gas for X amount of HP of damage, knocking himself or whatever unconscious, and that's all you need. But be quick about it, make it brief and to the point, and most importantly, be specific. Use numerical data when necessary. You know, you see my posts. I always include memorized spells, which helps to keep everybody honest, encourages players to put their thinking caps on when they choose the only spells that are available to their characters during any particular 24-hour game period, and it discourages needless metagaming. As far as rules are concerned, playing with people who are experienced is a tremendous help and benefit, especially when you can delegate a rules search verification on a player's off turn. They can provide you with a book and page number when necessary. Oftentimes, when more than one player concurs with regard to a ruling question, chances are it'll refresh your memory as to how it was described in the applicable book with correct implementation. And so this also helps to diminish lost time when a player tries to force your hand by suggesting a different interpretation or the misinterpretation of rule sets, maybe from an entirely different game system. So the players understand that you have your hands full and you're doing a lot of things during a session, so don't be afraid to ask for help. It's good management and it speeds things up. And lastly, in a paragraph or so, after the session, of course, you post your log. Use the post area as a between session forum for players to talk about what to do next. Leverage the post forum area to your advantage and try to take care of as much non-game essential activities outside of game time as possible. Now, of course, you won't be able to do everything that you like to do, but it does help to a certain degree. A perfect example of that was when we were in Hamlet just recently, which took about an hour or so before we were able to actually get into play what we're doing now. And of course, Twitch viewers returned after the fact because those types of basic housekeeping activities really isn't much of interest for the casual observer. So hence the importance of the log post area and subsequent forum usage. So anyways, I hope it's a bit educational, and be sure to check back every week when we have a brief little thing going on here.